like sharp knives, brewed hot, sure bra. No sugar, no filter. Sip, think, repeat, repeat.
You know how it is you want to get smart on something, really understand what's going on, but maybe without getting totally buried under mountains of info.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what we do here. We try to sift through it all, pull out the crucial bits, the stuff that makes you go, aha.
Gives you that real understanding. And today, we're digging into a bunch of ideas, all kind of sparked by this text collie.
Right.
Our mission, really, is to connect the dots across some key areas in our digital lives. Give you those light bulb moments, hopefully without the usual overload.
Okay, so what are we covering? Well, today's deep dive takes us through, I think, 4 really interesting areas. First up, all that mind-blowing tech from CES 2025, the hyperconnectivity thing.
Constant connection.
Then we're looking into privacy, or maybe the lack of it, with big data everywhere.
That's a big one.
After that, something a bit different, hacking, how movies show it versus, what actually happens.
The Hollywood version versus reality, yeah.
And finally, something maybe we don't think about enough, the environmental cost, the footprint of all this digital stuff.
It's like we're uncovering some important truths together, hopefully.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is how these things, they might seem separate, but they're actually, they're really connected, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. That hyperconnectivity from CES,
Yes.
that feeds straight into big data collection.
Right.
Which then impacts how we deal with cybersecurity. And maybe surprisingly, it all loops back to have real environmental effects.
It's all linked.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with CES 2025. Picture this, massive tech show, everyone's showing off their latest, shiniest gadgets.
A kind of tech fashion show almost.
Yeah, totally. And according to one source, the New York Post, AI wasn't just a theme, it was the theme. Artificial intelligence was everywhere.
That's a key point. AI wasn't just like one product feature. It was woven through pretty much everything. Think about Samsung's home AI idea.
Oh yeah, the connected home stuff.
Exactly. Your fridge talking to your washing machine, the oven figuring out cooking times with other gadgets, climate control, learning what you like. It sounds so smooth.
Yeah.
So convenient.
Super futuristic. My fridge knows when I need milk. But here's the catch, maybe. The sources we looked at brought up a really good point about the algorithms.
The decision-making code.
Yeah, that code. And just the sheer amount of personal data they need to collect to make it all work seamlessly, it kind of makes you stop and think, how much privacy are we actually trading away here?
That trade-off question keeps coming up. And then there was that Withings Omnia smart mirror.
The bathroom mirror.
Yeah. Not just for checking your reflection. It does advanced health analysis. Could give you preventative tips right there at home.
Like what?
Well, maybe suggesting you skip that extra pastry based on trends it's noticing.
Whoa, okay. It's tracking my croissant intake. That's kind of funny, but also a bit creepy.
Right. Where's the line between helpful wellness advice and, intrusion? One source even pictured data centers somewhere, just logging all our snack habits.
It definitely blurs the lines, and it shows how used to this kind of data collection we're becoming, maybe without fully realizing it.
Exactly. And looking beyond just the home, the New York Post also mentioned emotional machines, things like Mirumi, or that therapeutic robot dog, Jenny.
Oh, right. The companion robots.
Yeah. And there's definitely potential there, helping with mental well-being, offering support for people who feel isolated. That could be really positive.
For sure. If someone's lonely, having something that responds, offers a bit of connection, I can see the benefit. But the sources also asked a deeper question.
Which is?
What happens long-term if we start forming real emotional bonds with machines? Are we heading towards a future where saying, I love you to a robot is just normal?
It definitely makes you question what genuine human connection means and how that might change.
Big questions about our social norms. Okay, what else? Gaming.
Yeah, Diario AS reported on Behaptic's tac suit. Basically a suit for VR gaming that lets you feel things, impacts, vibrations.
Wow. So you'd actually feel the punch in a boxing game.
Apparently so. Takes immersion to a whole new level.
Sounds intense. But I guess the potential downside, one source mentioned this, is it could make gaming even more addictive, lead to more detachment from the real world.
Yeah, they use the phrase VR jogging. Like, you're running in the game, but your body's just standing still. It highlights that potential disconnect.
Interesting. Okay, tying this back to the bigger picture at CES, there was also a lot of talk about energy and being eco-friendly, right? JDM mentioned that.
Yes, definitely. Lots of focus on intelligent systems to optimize energy use, appliances that adapt, suggesting a move towards sustainability.
Which sounds good, obviously. We need that.
Yeah.
But the sources also pointed out a kind of contradiction.
Also,
Well, you have these green ideas, but at the same time, CES is all about launching tons of new connected devices, and making those devices uses energy rare materials.
right. So is it real progress or is some of it maybe
Hmm.
greenwashing, just making things look environmentally friendly?
It's complicated. And even the little things, the lifestyle gadgets, waterproof TVs, smart forks, whatever, they all fit into this picture. Tech becoming invisible, integrated.
But often still tracking data constantly, like that example of a connected lamp monitoring your sleep.
Yeah.
Might not even think about it.
It's that hidden layer of data collection that feels a bit unsettling. So, okay, zooming out on CES, big economic impact, right? Investors' stock market buzz.
Absolutely. And promises too. Accessible tech, better health outcomes.
But the flip side, will everyone be able to afford this stuff? Does it widen the gap between rich and poor? And this constant cycle of new models, making old ones obsolete, is it really solving problems or just creating the next must-have trend?
Good questions. And it leads perfectly into our next big topic, privacy. Or maybe the ends of privacy in this age of big data.
Yeah, it feels like we've sort of sleepwalked into accepting constant data collection as normal, often just for a bit of convenience.
It's amazing how normal it feels. We give up data for delivery app suggestions, online shops remembering our size, traffic predictions,
all helpful stuff, sure.
but it all comes from our personal information. And then you hear more and more stories about companies collecting way more than they need, sometimes selling it on.
Right. It makes you wonder, what part of our digital life is actually still private?
And even just knowing you might be tracked, even subconsciously, can create this low-level stress. Might make you censor yourself online. People say, I've got nothing to hide. But that misses the point, doesn't it?
Totally. Your data could be used in ways you can't even imagine down the line. Misinterpreted, maybe.
And economically, big data is, well, it's massive. Billions. One source called it the new oil. Companies refine it for marketing, predicting behavior, maybe even nudging our choices.
And the big tech giants, because they have so much data, they have enormous power.
Yeah. Now, there are attempts to regulate it, like GDPR in Europe, other efforts elsewhere.
But it feels like trying to catch up, right? Like a cat and mouse game. Laws change, but tech and data practices change even faster.
Exactly. And then there are the political dimensions. Governments collecting data, social credit systems in some places, smart surveillance cameras becoming common.
Often justified for security reasons.
Of course. But there's a real risk of surveillance just becoming normal, accepted, and that slowly chips away at freedoms.
It raises huge ethical questions, doesn't it? What kind of society are we building if everything is measured, tracked, analyzed? Are we losing spontaneity?
That's the worry. Finding a middle ground seems crucial, but the balance feels like it's tipping more and more towards surveillance.
So for you listening, what can you do? The sources suggest pushing for more transparency, demanding clearer rules on how data is used, urging companies to innovate responsibly.
It feels like it needs a collective effort. We need to think about what we're actually willing to sacrifice for all this digital convenience.
Okay, let's completely switch gears now. Let's talk about hacking, specifically how we see hacking in pop culture.
Right. Like in Mr. Robot or The Matrix or those older movies.
Yeah. You always get this image, don't you? The brilliant lone hacker, maybe a bit troubled, hunched over a keyboard, bringing down huge systems with just a few clicks.
Often wearing a hoodie.
Always a hoodie. It's this romantic myth, isn't it? The rebel genius. And, our sources point out it sells, it's marketable, taps into our anxieties, maybe.
Yeah, the underdog against the system idea.
Yeah.
But then you look at real cyber attacks.
It's pretty different.
Very different. We're talking ransomware, shutting down hospitals, massive data breaches, leaking millions of people's private info, Trojans stealing bank details. It's much less cool.
And the people doing it, often not lone wolves. They're part of criminal gangs, sometimes even working for governments. No cool bandana, no idealistic motive usually.
Exactly. It's organized, often financially motivated, sometimes political. And on the other side, you have a huge cybersecurity industry constantly trying to fight back. It's an ongoing battle.
An arms race, basically.
Pretty much. And it creates
Yeah.
this weird public perception, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Part fascination, part fear.
Yeah. Hackers as modern Robin Hoods, or just dangerous criminals, and your view probably changes fast if your computer gets hit with ransomware.
So suddenly not so romantic. Pop culture swings between hero and villain, often portraying cyber attacks as the ultimate disaster scenario, the modern boogeyman.
And the media often simplifies it, right? We look for easy heroes, easy villains, but the reality is way more complex.
Absolutely. Hacking and cybersecurity is a whole ecosystem. Researchers, engineers, laws, international groups, even a black market on the dark web. It's complicated.
So while movies might raise awareness, they often feed our fears by oversimplifying things. Vulnerable infrastructure, data leaks, feeling powerless against an invisible threat.
And we need to remember, as the sources stressed, this isn't some niche hobby. It's a major economic and political sector now.
Okay, one last major area to cover, and it's one we maybe don't connect directly with our screens, the environment.
Right, the ecological footprint of our digital culture. We tend to think of the digital world as clean, ethereal maybe,
Yeah.
dematerialized.
Yeah, like it exists purely in the cloud.
But the reality is very physical. Think about data centers. Huge buildings packed with servers running 24/7, using enormous amounts of energy, often needing massive cooling systems.
Every click, every stream, every online transaction, it all uses energy somewhere.
Definitely. Some sources pointed to things like certain cryptocurrencies, which are notoriously energy hungry, or just the collective impact of millions streaming videos constantly.
Binge watching has a carbon footprint. Who knew?
It all adds up. Now, tech giants like Apple and Google, they talk a lot about using renewable energy, building greener data centers, carbon offsetting.
And those efforts are important, surely.
They are, but the sources question if it's enough, especially when our digital usage is growing exponentially. Plus, there's that issue of greenwashing again, and the constant cycle of replacing devices, creating electronic waste.
It's a real dilemma for us too, isn't it? We want the new phone, the faster connection, unlimited storage, but we're also becoming more aware of the environmental cost.
It's hard to challenge this digital culture that's so pervasive. There's a conflict between wanting performance and wanting to reduce our impact.
So what's the solution? Our sources mention different views. Some say we need degrowth, consuming less. Others think technology itself, like AI optimizing energy use, is the answer.
It's that classic tension. Consume less or innovate our way out.
The idea of digital sobriety, just being more mindful of our digital consumption, seems important. Maybe turning off lights isn't enough if the data centers powering our lives are running full tilt constantly.
That's a powerful point.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try and pull these threads together. We've covered a lot.
We have. From the dazzling but maybe concerning innovations at CES.
To the slow erosion of privacy through big data.
The gap between the movie version of hacking and the real thing.
And finally, the very real environmental costs hidden behind our screens.
It really feels like the big underlying question is about balance, doesn't it? How do we balance technological progress with, collective responsibility?
Responsibility for our privacy, our freedoms, and for the planet itself.
And that brings us to a question for you, listening right now. Where do you personally see the biggest tension between wanting the latest tech and needing to protect these other vital things?
It's something we all need to grapple with.
And maybe one final thought to leave you with. Thinking about everything we've discussed, what do you believe is the single biggest trade-off we're making right now in our increasingly digital world? And crucially, are we truly aware, consciously aware of where that trade-off might lead us in the long run?
Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Cappuccino, white crop, mine's brewed hot, served raw. No sugar, no filter. Sip, think, repeat, repeat, repeat.